Hello friends and welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am your host Tom Downey, back with some more potential Cowboys trade targets. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this is the one everybody wants, right? Jamal Adams. I want him, you want him, everybody wants him on the Dallas Cowboys. But don't get your hopes up. I understand the desire. It's kind of a no-brainer desire there. But there's actually been zero indication that Jamal Adams wants out or a trade discussion has been had by any NFL team or anything that indicates beyond, oh, hey, Jamal Adams removed it from his bio, what was actually never in his bio in the first place, or he never followed them. He's still tweeting about the Jets. And the price tag, by the way, would be about the Jalen Ramsey trade. I don't think the Cowboys would do that, so I love it, but don't get your hopes up. So instead, let's talk about some realistic trade targets. All right, so let me know in the comment section who your realistic trade target is for the Dallas Cowboys. I know, we want Jamal Adams. We want other big-name superstar player like Patrick Peterson or whatever. These guys aren't realistic, though. So let me know in the comment section who you want, and maybe you'll see that exact same player coming up here on today's show. We will focus on the defensive line here in particular. The offense is in pretty good shape overall. The Cowboys don't need linebackers. So the front four, especially given the lack of safety targets out there and defensive back targets out there, the front four is one of the main areas I'm focusing in on today. Robert Quinn a bit banged up, but he should be fine. You can always have more pass rush depth. And the interior of the defensive line could use an upgrade. Now, you guys have asked me about Damon Harrison before. And I told you, I don't know if the Lions are going to be sellers. Then they go out and they trade Quandre Diggs for reasons that I don't really fully understand. And Harrison, a.k.a. Snacks, first off, elite name, would be a great dinner date for Zeke because they both like to do the Feed Me celebration, or eating celebration, I guess, for Snacks there. Harrison would be a fantastic fit for the Dallas Cowboys. And I mean no disrespect here towards Antoine Woods, but Damon Harrison is the better player. So here's my trade offer for Snacks. A 2020 5th-round pick intentionally targeted because, well, that's what the Lions gave up to get Damon Harrison. Now, in terms of the money side of things, he's actually super cheap this year. Less than $1 million because they don't owe his entire base salary. Next year, it becomes $9 million, but you could even cut him if you really felt the need to save money there. I think it's a worthwhile, hired hitman to come in and be a good investment on the interior of that defensive line for the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe it's a long shot, but I'd at least pick up the phone and call. I smell blood in the water after the Diggs trade for the Detroit Lions. Now, today's show is brought to you by Kashiyama, the Smart Tailor. Get your own custom-fitted suit or blazer like I'm wearing right now. Go check them out. It's Kashiyama1927.com. That is the website, Kashiyama1927.com. These suits start at about $300, a.k.a. the same prices you're going to pay for the other major chains, except they're custom-fitted and the quality is vastly superior. Go check them out, Kashiyama1927.com. Another popular name here is Vic Beasley, and I get it. Former first-round pick. Everyone knows who Vic Beasley is. He had that 15.5 sack season just a couple of years ago. He's good, right? Well, actually, not really. For starters, he carries a $12.81 million base salary. So you're paying him over half that. We'll just round it and say 7 or 6.5. We'll just be generous there. And most importantly, the production is simply not worth the price tag for Vic Beasley. Here is his pressure rate by year. I'm using Pro Football Pressure's numbers here. Basically, how often do you get a pressure per pass rush snap? He's at 8.07 this year, was at about 7% last year, hit 11 in 2016, but he's been below 10 the past 3 years. For reference, by the way, because I know these numbers don't mean that much to you, for reference, that 8.07 figure, that is a lower rate than every Cowboys pass rusher. Kerry Hyder, Joe Jackson, Dorrance Armstrong, DeMarcus Lawrence, Robert Quinn, Jalen Smith are all generating pressures at a better rate than Vic Beasley is this year. I know he's a big name. I know he's a former first-round pick, had that one great year. I don't see the reason to invest in Vic Beasley when the production is not there, and it's not like you're getting him on a discount. You're paying him like $6.5 million the rest of the season. If he was super cheap, I would maybe consider it otherwise. But I don't see the need to bring in Vic Beasley. I don't mind the idea of bringing in a pass rusher. I don't think Beasley's the answer here beyond, oh, he's a name brand. So do you want Vic Beasley on the Cowboys? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'm going to say no at his current cost. But I will offer a compromise. Once Vic Beasley's contract is up this year, because he's not going to probably be back with the Atlanta Falcons, I don't mind Vic Beasley as a buy low on the super cheap rehab style project next year. Bring him in for next to nothing and see if you can strike gold with Beasley then. I'm just not paying him all this money and a draft pick. I'm open for edge rushers, but Beasley, I don't think he's the answer. And on Atlanta, I have a different name for you. One that I like and one that I think you could get a actual legitimate buy low option. Deadrin Senat. Now I know it's spelled differently, but that's how it's pronounced. Senat, strangely, has not played for the Falcons this year, which is pretty weird to me. I don't really get it. He was pretty solid for them in his first season out of South Florida, a former third-round pick. I like him a lot as a potential buy low target to become your long-term one technique. I like it a lot because the Falcons are selling. He's not going to be that expensive in terms of a trade, I wouldn't think, and he's still super cheap and young. It's not just a mercenary for this season. So here's my proposed trade, and of course, let me know in the comments who says no. Say not for a 5th-round pick. Does Atlanta say no? The Cowboys don't typically value those one technique types like Deadrin is, but I bring him in for a 5th-round pick. You're going to get this year plus at least 2 more years out of him. If you get that from your 5th-round pick, normally you've done pretty well. If the Falcons really want to go on to full fire sale mode, I think Senat makes a lot of sense. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Also, everyone, subscribe to the Cowboys Report. I've got the numbers in front of me. I see it. 2/3 of you watch the show, but you aren't subscribed, which is weird. I don't think you're hate watching. If so, hello there. How are you guys doing today? But come on, let's subscribe here. Do it. YouTube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report. I want to get to 40K here before the Cowboys bye week is over. I think we can do it, but tell your friends. Let's do it here on the Cowboys Report. All right, Andrew Billings, he's next up here. This is another run-clogging option for the Dallas Cowboys, and a very common theme, and I think understandably so. Now, Billings out of Baylor, so I know a lot of you guys know him because we're local and we love our Baylor and TCU and Texas Oklahoma players. Billings had a rough first year. I was kind of worried about him, but since then, this year and then half of this year, again, rounding, he's actually been pretty solid. My biggest question about a possible Andrew Billings trade is, A, the Bengals, even if they're in full-on fire sale mode, which I'm not convinced they're going to be, would they really want to trade away one of their promising young players? You can trade veterans when you're in the fire sale mode, but unless you're the Dolphins, you normally don't want to give up other players. I know many of you have asked about Geno Atkins. We did do him in a previous video, so subscribe, go look on the channel. It's there for you. But this is a one technique versus a 3 technique debate there. Billings will play the 1 technique. Atkins is a 3 tech. So what's the Cowboys' biggest overall need? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Also, I'm talking about players here, so please don't put in head coach or a real GM, which already exists, by the way. His name is Will McClay. He's actually very good at his job. Maybe it's safety. Maybe it's one of the defensive tackle spots. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. And I've got kind of a hybrid defensive lineman here for you. That's Derek Wolfe of the Denver Broncos. Speaking of fire sale, Emmanuel Sanders, he's already gone. Chris Harris Jr., I think he's going to be gone in the very near future. By the way, doesn't really make a ton of sense for the Cowboys just because of the price tag involved. He's going to be a free agent. It just doesn't make enough sense there, I don't think. But Wolfe is he's kind of like a Tyrone Crawford type player. Similar builds, has played defensive end in the 3-4 scheme for Denver, would be more of a 3 technique for the Cowboys, about 6'5", 280 in that range. $8.5 million in salary and per game bonuses this year, so cut that in about half. The production sack-wise hasn't been fantastic, but he's good against the run, which I think the Cowboys desperately need right now at the 3 technique position. Malik Collins, it's just not his area of expertise. He's just not a great run stopper. Never really has been. Maybe that changes in the near future, but that's not the case right now. So I don't know what the cost would be. If I can get him for a 5th, I don't want to give a 4th for him. If I can get him for a 5th, I'd like that move for the Dallas Cowboys. Here's something you guys can do as well. Do you want a free blazer from Kashiyama like the one I am wearing right now? Go follow Kashiyama on Instagram. It's at Kashiyama Tailors. Again, that is at Kashiyama Tailors on Instagram. Go follow them. And if you want 2 entries to win a free blazer, which we'll give away in the next few weeks here, DM them Cowboys. So again, 1 entry if you follow them at Kashiyama Tailors on Instagram. 2 entries if you DM them DM them Cowboys. Let's get some of the bigger names out here that I do think make at least some level of sense. It's definitely a long shot. Frankly, I think most trades for the Cowboys this deadline are a long shot. How about Ndamukong? This is one of the most popular ones when I put this on the community channel earlier today. Like, who do you guys want to trade for? Lots of Sues I saw in there. At one end, it does make sense, right? Everyone knows Sue. The Bucs aren't very good. Only 5.2 in base salary, so again, cut that in about half. It's actually fairly doable for the Cowboys. That's why I included him. One big thing, though. The reality of Ndamukong as a football player. He is not the same guy anymore. Look at the production. Most importantly, the tackles for loss. 11, 9, 4, 1, and by 2016 was a drop from 2015. The reality of Sue, he's not the same impact defensive lineman he once was. Now, it's not to say he's bad. I'm not saying that at all. So here's my trade proposal for the Bucs. I am willing to give up, and nothing more than this, a 2020 4th round pick. There's nothing that I would offer beyond that for Sue. He's just not the same impactful defensive lineman. But I went with the 4th on the hope, at least, that, hey, you know what? You're going to get a 2021 4th via the compensatory pick process, be it from Sue or other players on your roster in all likelihood. I would be willing to do it. You come in, you have someone who can be your one technique and can still put that on all 3 downs. I think it's a worthwhile gamble, but it is not the surefire thing it was, when Ndamukong was in his prime for Detroit and the Miami Dolphins. Let's talk then about the defensive backfield. I know you guys want a safety. Rashad Jones is way too expensive. I don't think safety makes sense right now. I'm sorry. I wish there was somebody out there. I want Jamal Adams, but it's just not going to happen. But I will give you one big name at cornerback. It's a long shot, but hey, I aim to please sometimes. Xavier Howard. Now, the problem is the Dolphins just made him the highest paid cornerback in the NFL. The Cowboys, though, would only owe him about $12 million per year over the next 4 to 5 years. And this year, by the way, he's actually exceedingly cheap. So I'm intrigued by it. If the Dolphins are actually willing to move, and frankly, it would probably require the Dolphins or Howard demanding a trade out of Miami. The problem is, I don't think Howard's available right now, and I don't know if the Cowboys would be willing to pay the cost of Howard if he actually did want out. For example, the Eagles would probably outbid Dallas. So I went with a unique trade idea here for Miami. A 2nd round pick, because I'm not trading my 1st rounder this year. I'm just not doing it. Not even for Xavier Howard. And Byron Jones, because if you bring in a cornerback, you got to send somebody out. Anthony Brown should be benched, by the way, for Jordan Lewis, free Jordan. Cheeto could work, but I would move Byron Jones, say, hey, Miami, you guys can re-sign him. He's going to be a great cornerback for you. You still upgrade at the cornerback spot, and most importantly, and it's why it's probably not enough for Miami, you end up having your cornerback signed long term. That's why I'm going to move a 2nd and a corner. I just don't know if Miami would do it. I think they might say no. So everyone watching on Facebook and on YouTube, put your trade proposals for me in the comments section. I promise you, I will be nice. If I have nothing nice to say, I just won't say anything at all about your trade packages. Get those for me in the comments section here on YouTube and on Facebook. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.